Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Hey, y'all get in here, man. Let's y'all gotta get in here, man. I'm gonna talk about some things. Talk about some. Before I start, I would like to tell you that this is the Logic Sphere, and I am your host, TipTycity. Okay, if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the share button. Okay, let me get everything set up. Day one, what's up with you? Only, what's up, man? Yeah, we here, man. Yeah, coolin'. We not gonna get too in depth with you already know the Patreon super lady, man. Hold on. Hold on. Let me get over here real quick. Where was we? Are you kidding me? Hey y'all, what y'all up to tonight, man? We finna get to the we finna get into some truth telling tonight. Day one said grab the Thor rare 2 minutes after the store open. Yeah, you gotta do that. You gotta do that. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Hold on. Because here we go. Here we go. Boom. Boom. We finna rock and roll. We are about to rock and roll. Who we got up in here? Tampa, what's up with you? Rocco, what's up with you? Life Poet, what's up with you? Let me see what we're looking at. Oh yeah. Camera work looking good. Lighting looking spectacular. You know, I'm putting some more stuff up together. I actually had to take it down because it's not ready yet. But Useless, what's happening? Mike Jones, what's up with you? Cooler said, take the stream down. We finna get hit tonight. No, we finna go ahead and go in there one time, man. Not the Patreon way, but just enough, you know. Once again, if you're not part of the illest, most groundbreaking, most informative, eye-opening Patreon group, man, you might want to get on in there. You know what I'm saying? Hit that $25 tier and join the gang, man. You know. So yeah, we rocking, man. ISO, what's up with you? Mike Brown, what's up? DeMarcus Cousins, what's up with you? He said, you one of the only ones in the space that talk about real topics instead of thizots. Hey man, hey man, thizots ain't finna matter here in a little bit. We finna go ahead and get on. You know what I'm saying? We finna go ahead and get on in there, man. Let me see. He said it was a glitch in the drop. Yeah, that's what I heard. But you know what? That's the first comic drop that I missed today. He said, what's good? Yeah, we in here. JP, what's up with you, man? Maurice, he said, everybody get anything off the drop. Man, that's what we be talking about all day on just different ways to flip in the Telegram group, man. That's all we over there doing, winning. Why everybody get in here, man? Y'all need to be hitting the like button. All right, y'all need to be hitting the like button. All right. Vic said, "What's up, chat? What's up, chat? Only up said, what's good? You got them new VV drops? Nah, I haven't. I'm waiting for the Comic-Con drops because that's what I'm into, like the designer sector in the art, the art section. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for that to pop off so I can get my stuff built up like that. I think the comic books is as deep as I want to go, really, with the Marvel comic book action adventure stuff. Like I want to build a portfolio of art. All right, but yeah. Black Curl said Patreon is the illest. Yeah, the Patreon be lit, man. Excalibur said salute. He said the hat guy. Yeah, man, this look like a trucker hat, but it's a fitted. You know, y'all know what time it is, man. Motherfuckers, they tried to step their hat game up when I turned the camera on, but they just nah, we see you. You know, a lot of guys don't even know what size hat to wear. Dudes out here with they on live streams with big hats on, you know. Take that monkey shit off. You embarrassing us. JP say we them guys. Yeah, man. We in there hitting. Coolin said a lot of VV news was announced today. Yep. And you already know we definitely gonna do a Patreon live stream breaking down a lot of stuff with that, right? So the Master Collector program and all that. But that's not why we're here. Okay. Pitmaster, what's up with you? He said, anybody get the Dragon Lady? He said, what you think about Coinbase making an NFT platform? Coinbase is the feds. That's all I'm saying. Every transaction over there is going to the you-know-who's. You know what I'm saying? As for me, I already know what Coinbase is. I knew what Coinbase was when they turned everybody information over to the IRS, you know, a few months, no, actually 2 years ago when they did it, you know. So I'm cool on that, you know. I'm cool on that, you know. Coinbase is the feds. Coinbase is the federales, right? Oh, we want to track. We want to track NFTs too now. 2 months after you announced that you was working with the
objection, the chair is authorized to declare a recess of the subcommittee
hold on. We getting started too early. Hold on. Yeah, not yet. Yeah, so the sheep, they're gonna love Coinbase NFTs. And that's what we're gonna talk about today. All right. If you want to avoid being a sheep out here in these digital asset cryptocurrency streets, you know, join the Patreon. All right. Join the Patreon. All right. So also, if you want to contribute to the content that you're not getting out here, hit the Cash App in the lower left part of your screen, okay? All right. Hit the Cash App, all right? Because you weren't getting this information, all right? And when you Negroes talk about the information that you're about to get, all right, it's gonna come from a nigga who do not know what the fuck he talking about. They're gonna tell you that they have a tinfoil fitted hat on. They're gonna tell you that this is a conspiracy and all that, but I'm here to tell you that it is not. Y'all know I do not do conspiracy talk. All right. Everything I say on this motherfucker, I back up with the documents. All right. I show you the clips where it comes from directly from the people's mouths who have control. All right. I show it to you. All right. I'm not the, this gonna happen and that's gonna happen and that. Nah, that ain't me, fam. I will show you where it's at. Right. A lot of people was excited today. You know, XRP is part of the digital pound foundation. I did not, but I showed you 3 months ago that Ripple had proof of concept already with the Bank of England, BOE. I already showed y'all that. Then I go and post, say, hey, you're posting old news. And one of your bigger XRP content creators gets mad about it. They get mad like, hey, I know Ripple announced it today, but if you were actually looking at the documents, it was already confirmed months ago. All right. In fact, we may be 3 or 4 steps ahead of XRP with some of the stuff that we talking about in the Patreon group. We already know how this thing gonna go. Okay. I came here to dumb it down for you guys one time on YouTube, just so we could clear the air. All right. Y'all know my stance with the sheep. Okay. Y'all know my stance with the sheep. I would like to tell you guys that the US dollar is not going anywhere. I've been saying this. But people want to keep talking about, people want to keep talking about, Bitcoin is going to lead the way to the new financial system. I said, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, that's what you believe, go ahead. Curl said, what happens in the $25 game stays in the $25 game. Absolutely. I already know. I can't even talk about this stuff over here anyways, because again, I showed y'all where they cracking down on it. All right. Now, where do I begin? Where do I begin? All right. So, I don't even know how I want to start this off. I don't even know where I want to start this off. Let's do this. All right. Let's do this. Now, give me 1 second. Okay. Mr. O, what's up with you? Yeah, they flagging a lot of people's stuff down. A lot of stuff getting flagged out there, man. A lot of stuff getting flagged out there. All right. So, while motherfuckers was out there talking about God knows what today, while guys were out here talking about God knows what out here today, while people was talking about God, who knows what issues motherfuckers was talking about today, right? While motherfuckers was wasting their time on some bullshit today, yeah, the Committee on Financial Services had a meeting today, okay? This is your government. This is what your government was talking about today, all right? Of course, we already reviewed all this over on the Patreon group. You know, we go over these types of videos live. All right. We comment on these videos live. All right. Now, so this is what they was talking about. And again, this hearing was named Cashed Out: How a Cashless Economy Impacts Disadvantaged Communities and Peoples. All right. 10% we talking about black women submitting. Yeah. Yeah. While we talking about God knows what, this is what's happening around your dumb ass. All right. This is what's happening. When you hear, people like Glendon Cameron say, we're getting people ready for the financial reset. But you're clueless on digital assets and the future of finance, It is what it is, man. Whatever. Lara, what's up with you? Yeah, Lara got a secret rare, man. Your boy turned $7 into $1,500 with the click of a button. Man, that's lit, man. Emmy said, just dumb. I'm disappointed in my elders. Don't set yourself up for disappointment with these old niggas, man. They have to go. I'm telling you, there are things that are happening in this world, and they are going to tell you that you can do old shit to make it to the new shit. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna have to get in the game and do some learning. All right, you'll have to do some learning. Now, there was a lot of pandering to the sheep that went on in this hearing today. And it's funny, but it's not funny. You know what I'm saying? Where it's almost like knowing how the movie ends, but you're in the you're in the movie theater while everybody else is watching the same movie, but you know how the movie's gonna end, and you're just looking at the people to see how they're gonna react to what's happening. This is everything that we've been talking about over here for about a year and a half, ever since I started this channel, pretty much. It's coming into fruition. All right. Once again, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is not a tinfoil fitted hat. This is facts that are coming out. All right. This is just what it is. Okay. Now, there are very weak arguments that are happening right now for why the paper dollar has to be kept in place, why we got to keep having dollars and paper and coins, which is supposed to be a coin shortage, but where are all the coins? Like, who's hoarding the coins to cause a shortage? It's kind of weird, but whatever. They just tell people, there's a coin shortage, but we don't know where the coins went. All right. There's that happened. That's like what, a year and a half deep already. It's like a year and a half deep of a coin shortage, right? Now, the you-know-what dollar is on the way, all right? And it's going to be laid out as a solution to all these people who you're about to hear making the physical dollar seem like it's a problem, all right? Or removing the physical dollar is a problem. Okay, y'all know how the government works. Create a problem, wait for the complaint, wait for the begging for help, and then you get to come in with your own customized solution. All right. So we're in the phase now where the paper dollar is missing and is creating a problem for disadvantaged communities and peoples. All right. So without any further ado, we are going to get into this hearing that the Committee on Financial Services had today. All right. On a cashless economy. All right. Where do I want to start? All right, I got my first timestamp. Right over here. Let's do this. It's long. I'm going to just jump around in here. All right, let me know if y'all can hear it.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Ranking Member, and members of the subcommittee. My name is John Brayo, and I am the Vice President of Public Policy, Telecommunications, and Fraud for the National Consumers League. Founded in 1899, NCL is the nation's pioneering consumer and worker advocacy organization. Our nonprofit mission is to advocate on behalf of consumers and workers in the United States and abroad. I appreciate the opportunity to provide the subcommittee with NCL's perspective on the growing use of peer-to-peer payment apps and the need for stronger consumer protections from fraud and erroneous payments for users of these services.
Now, when we talk about peer-to-peer payment apps, okay, what we're talking about is PayPal. What we're talking about is Cash App, okay? Those are peer-to-peer payment systems. Now, these systems are convenient as hell. Okay, they really are. I pay my yard man with Cash App. I done use Cash Apps at garage sales, right? And it's just, it's convenient as hell. But, and there is a but. Uncle Sam want his taxes on everything. Uncle Sam want to know what every transaction is. All right? That's just the gist of this. All right? This is how the sheep are about to sleepwalk themselves into a situation where everything is controlled and Big Brother knows everything about you. Okay? This is where your public ledger and your permissioned blockchain is going to come into play. All right? So they don't like that. So now you finna hear this guy come in and tell you why peer-to-peer payment systems are a problem. All right?
As you will hear from my fellow witnesses, a cashless economy is one where far too many consumers, particularly those with low incomes, and especially those who come from historically marginalized communities, are likely to be left behind. To be clear, a cashless economy is one that comes with real costs for these vulnerable consumers, such as fewer retail choices, higher prices for everyday goods and services, more surveillance, and less access to the banking system.
Understand that. Less access to the banking system, because what you're going to hear in this is you're going to hear about they don't have a bank. There is no bank. And the banks is the Fed. You know what I'm saying? FDIC, federally insured, and all the rest of this stuff. Like, the banks are the Fed, right? When Biden came out and said, well, we need to monitor every bank account that has $600 in it. All right. This is how they want to keep track and control the sheep. All right. So this is what you have to understand, because even myself, I had to rewire the way that I thought about this, because every time I heard the term unbanked, it was given to me in a way where it was bad. All right. But people are having, like, you know, people are living without banks. That is the problem. It's not the fact that, oh, we have to help them get bank accounts. Why? Like, you got an email address. Now you have a Cash App. Now you have Venmo. Now you have PayPal, right? Now you have Zeal and all the rest of that. Like, the banks really lost their grip on a segment of the population that would usually have to deal with uh, loans and all the rest of this stuff. There's an economy that works off of just labor, trade, and everything else, just straight business. All right, a lot of people have done this. A lot of people they run their ads or whatever. They start their lawn business and they get it in. Okay, B Mays, what's up with you, man? I gotta figure this out, man. You should have a wrench already. People already figured this stuff out. Okay, get over here real quick. People already figured this out, and that's the problem. Where are the taxes? All right, where are the taxes? What did they do? What is that $500 for? What is that $1,300 for? How much of that was supposed to go to us? But see, the sheep are going to hear this, all right? And this is the beat of a drum that's starting to get louder and louder and louder, all right? And the sheep are going to go along with it because they want to be protected. And believe me, these people are going to protect the shit out of them. The sheep are going to be so protected. Man, listen.
Emblematic of the impact of a cashless economy on vulnerable consumers is the explosive growth of peer-to-peer or P2P payment apps like PayPal's Venmo, Square's Cash, and the bank's Zelle service. By one estimate, roughly 4 in 5, or 79% of Americans, have used mobile payment apps. By 2023, more than $1 trillion will likely be transacted via these platforms. Unfortunately, the features that make P2P services appealing, low cost, nearly instantaneous payments, all made via a mobile app, are also key contributors to high fraud rates.
So the fact that these things are efficient and cheap is the reason why they're good for fraud. They're good for fraud rate. Okay. Now, again, I want you to understand there is nothing more anonymous than me handing another man cash. All right. There is nothing more anonymous than me meeting up with somebody in the parking lot and handing over straight greenbacks. Okay. There is no record of that. There is nothing on my phone, nothing. Okay. You have to understand how outrageous, how silly. All it takes is for a little bit of logic to be sprinkled onto these weak arguments, and it all falls apart. You got to understand that the agenda here it's on purpose. This is all planned. But I get how they could actually use that with crypto, but it's going to be hard for you to demonize Cash App and PayPal and Zeal and Square, and you know what I'm saying? It's going to be hard for you to demonize those things. All right? It's going to be hard for you to come out and say, "You know what? These things are efficient and cheap, And that's why the fraud rate is so high. All right. I mean, I don't know how, Cash App is so easy to use. Cash App is super easy to use. I don't know how you can mess up using Cash App. He said Cash App is the wife I never had. I don't know how you can mess up. Right? The only errors could be on your side. Okay, you put the name in wrong, you sent the money. All right. You fucked up. That's your fault. That's not fraud, it's not a scam. All right. B-Bay said, I know people with 30 bands on the Cash App. Absolutely. I bought a what I buy? Oh, I bought my Super Duty with Zeal. He was like, I got Zeal. I was like, okay, my credit union, I have Zeal. I didn't even know I had Zeal. He was like, well, can you send it through Zeal? And I was like, all right, but I mean, I don't know what the limit is. He was like, shit, you can send me 5 bands right now through Zeal. And I was like, word? Yo, I set up Zeal. It was already linked to my credit union because that's how they got it worked out or whatever. And that was that. That was a done deal, And that's how people been getting down. But the problem is, I'm telling y'all, the problem is, what was that 5 bands for? What? How much of that was supposed to be ours? You see what I'm saying? That's just, this is the narrative that's finna start flying. He said a 10-year-old can understand Cash App. Man, listen. They let that stuff get through the crack. Skyfall said, I never used Cash App. Damn. He said it's all about collecting taxes from the unbanked. Yeah, the unbanked. That's another thing I want y'all to pay attention to, the unbanked. The people who need to be banked. Like, if you don't bank, man, y'all about to hear some crazy stuff, man. Watch this. Again, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is an actual committee hearing, funded and put out by the U.S. government.
In 2020, the FTC received nearly 62,000 complaints from consumers who sent money to fraudsters via payment apps or similar services.
Now, 62,000, right, was sent to scammers. 62,000. I'm going to say this. They probably got millions of users. And out of that 62,000, I promise you a lot of that stuff, it wasn't nothing. I promise you it was just somebody trying to reverse a transaction. Somebody trying to reverse a transaction. And that's not a lot. It's not a big problem. You got to understand how they selling this. Right? And the only way you can send somebody something on Cash App is if you send it. I haven't heard of anybody's Cash App getting hacked. Anybody know about a Cash App hack? I don't know. Yeah, JP, you got to confirm it before you send. Just like Vivi, people selling NFTs for cheap. It's your fault. Somebody sniped it out of the marketplace. Right?
With a total reported loss of $87 million.
$87 million. That is not a lot. That is not a lot.
These complaint statistics, sobering as they may be, are just the tip of the iceberg. Analysts estimate that fraud rates on these platforms are 3 to 4 times higher than for traditional payment methods such as debit or credit cards.
Debit or credit cards. What are those associated with? The banks. You see what I'm saying? The banks. this this is just too much. This is just the first guy coming in making his case for why you shouldn't have total financial freedom, right? Sir Abadei, what's up with you, boy? This is them that they laying this out like it's so much bad happening with these entities that don't allow us to see what's going on. You know, peer to peer. Think about that, peer to peer, from one peer to another peer. Why would they want to interfere with that? You see what I'm saying? Why would they want to interfere with that? Why can't we do business with each other without the use of a bank, right? Without a middleman. Okay, this is the foundation of the original use case for Bitcoin, but we already know what's going on with that. Exchanges got in the way. A lot of other people got in the way. People took, we're not going to go down that road, but like peer to peer, you know, is them coming in like we have to save these people from themselves.
P2P services are aware that scammers use their services to obtain funds from their victims. And while P2P services do employ technological measures and consumer education messaging to try and stop fraudulent transactions, there is a business incentive not to introduce too many security roadblocks in the payment process. If these platforms are making the decision to skew their services towards speed and convenience at the expense of safety and security, they must take responsibility for those business choices.
Listen. ISO said PayPal tax, period. Yes, PayPal does tax, but PayPal taxes are just a state tax, if I'm not mistaken. Right? They don't come in and actually have it labeled what it was that you bought. Like you could just say goods and services on PayPal. See what I'm saying? They don't like that. They don't like that.
While no financial service is immune from fraud, protections for consumers who lose money on P2P apps to scams or even simple errors are sorely lacking. A big reason for this is a loophole in the Electronic Fund Transfer Act that excludes payments initiated by the consumer from the protection for unauthorized charges. This is also known as fraud in the inducement or victim-assisted fraud.
Victim-assisted, this is what I'm telling y'all. That's what I'm telling y'all. That's what I know. This is what I know. This is how the sheep get down. And the sheep gonna say, you know what? Even though I know how to use PayPal and Cash App and everything else, even though I know, you know what? For the betterment of the dumb people who don't know how to use this stuff, you know, maybe we do need to have Big Daddy government come in and regulate this whole thing. Even me, even though I'm not doing anything, they need to protect me too. You see what I'm saying? This is the mind of a sheep, and they playing into it. Like a sheep, you literally present them with a problem. You present the sheep with a problem, and then they agree that it's a problem, even though it's not a problem, and then they want somebody else to come through with the solution. Oh, this gets better.
This allows P2P services and banks to avoid liability for payments sent from consumers to scammers, even when such payments are the result of fraud. Similarly, when a consumer sends a payment in error, such as by entering the wrong email address into the app.
Right. Whose fault is that? Okay, that's not a scam. That's not fraud. If you put the wrong email, if you put the wrong thing in, guess whose fault it is? All right. Guess whose fault that is? Take a wild guess at who's responsible for the funds that got sent to the wrong email address. Okay? And again, if you can't take responsibility for that, then maybe you need to get a piggy bank or something. You know, maybe you need the mommy and daddy to hold your hand. All right. He said, what happens when you put the wrong account number in for a wire transfer? Well, what happens is you could go and file a complaint, and mommy and daddy, big daddy government, will help you get your funds back. All right. You could go, you have somebody to cry to, okay, which is how they maintain control. Because they give you somebody to cry to, right? For such big money, tough guys, they sound like victims. Absolutely. It's one of those things where it's like, oops, I sent my money to the wrong place. It's like, okay, well, guess what? All right. Congratulations. You know? Yeah, they got to get their hands spanked. They don't know how to be cautious with their money, be responsible with the money. This is the big issue with crypto. This is why it won't be mass adoption, because blockchain will have to be reversible. Okay, it's gonna have to be a way to reverse transactions or review different transactions. This is why some projects are being adopted. You know what I'm saying? Because they have to do that. All right, they have to do that. I mean, you got people buying Shiba Inu. God bless those people, man. You know, they buying Shiba Inu. I bought a little bag. I flipped it. That was it. I'm not, long term into Shiba Inu. Okay, I know the risk that I take when I get into a asset like that. I don't need anybody. I don't need anybody to say, "Oh man, it was a rug pull. The whales dumped on us. I'm down 80%. Somebody needs to." No, I'm not doing none of that. I know the risk that I take when I go and get into something. Okay, but most people, you know, they want to be able to do something. Look at what happened. Look at what happened with AMC. Okay, Janet Yellen made the phone calls. They shut down trading. All the big boys got out. Guess what? When the peons got ready to sell the GameStop stuff and the AMC stuff, you couldn't get out. The big boys got out first. All right, guess what happened? Everybody cried to Big Daddy government. They started a civil suit, and nobody heard nothing else about this civil suit. The government say, hey, kick rocks. Okay? That's what you're getting. Kick rocks. All right? Pound sand, you big dummy. You think it was gonna take a L to a Reddit group? But moving right along.
The P2P platforms are not obligated to correct the error. Instead, they simply encourage the consumer to ask the unintended recipient to voluntarily send the money back.
Right. Hey, look, listen. Maybe find the kindness is somebody's heart where they can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to return the funds that you accidentally blessed me with. All right. And again, let me get back over here. If you would like to send a Cash App, send it to TipTycity. There it is right there in the lower left part. You know what I'm saying? I made sure I made it very legible. Okay. So you can read it. You know what I'm saying? I do not want you to send it to you know what I'm saying, TyCity with an S, you know what I'm saying, TipTycity with, you know, no extra. All right. Yeah, relying on the honest policy. Right? Yeah, I'm gonna give you your money back, fam. Psych. Yeah, wait on it. Wait on it. Wait on it. That's what we got going on. Wait on it. Oh yeah. Oh man, yeah, you did send me $5,000 on accident, fam. You know what? This is what I'm gonna do. Okay. As soon as I get off work, I'm gonna send it back to you. All right, fam. Yeah, same time. All right. Yeah, you got it. All right, peace. And thank you for contacting me. and thank you for telling me, you know.
Unsurprisingly, this is no substitute for strong anti-fraud and error resolution protections. The end result of this loophole is that the liability risk for fraud is transferred from the platforms and banks to consumers themselves. The only recourse for many victims of fraud or errors committed via these apps is to throw themselves at the mercy of the banks or platforms and beg to be made whole.
Yep. Skyfall TV, he said, long overdue, bruh. Don't stop helping the little people. Yeah, we here, man. I'm telling you, because listening to a lot of these people, man. Listen, this is what y'all gotta understand. All right. Let me do this real quick. I want y'all to see this. This video only got 1,300 views. This is directly from the U.S. House Committee of Finance Service. They're not talking about this. This shit ain't going viral. This gonna, you know what I'm saying? These discussions are what's gonna shape the future. And nobody even watching this shit. Nobody even care. You know, just sitting there, 1,300 views. Most of these views came from the live stream. You know, people, they don't care. I won't say sheep. There's a lot of sheep. That's what I'm saying. This is the sheep. Okay, 80 people in the building. Y'all better get these likes up. Y'all been very disrespectful out here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all been very disrespectful. I'm bringing you this. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you know, he's going to be lost in the sauce.
Unfortunately, thanks to the lack of legal protections, it is far too easy for the banks and P2P platforms to simply tell fraud victims that they are out of luck. This state of affairs is unacceptable for consumers. Billion-dollar banks and payment platforms are far more able to spread the cost of protecting consumers from error.
There we go, protection. Billion-dollar banks. The big banks are better. The big banks are better. See what I'm saying? It's the big banks that are going to do a better job at what? Protecting. The big banks are going to protect you. You know, the big banks that caused the 08 housing crisis. Those banks, the banks that sent this whole country into a recession, those banks. Yeah. Those banks are going to help you. You need those banks, the big billion-dollar banks. All right. Those are the banks that are going to help you and protect you. Okay. The same banks that participated with redlining, the same banks that did predatory loans, these banks are going to protect you. All right. the same banks that, you know, created silly, you know, toxic assets. You know, Jay Webb, I appreciate the 10 on the Cash App. He said for the fire. Yeah, we here, man, because I don't want you guys out here, you know, I don't want you guys not seeing this coming. You get hit from the, you know what I'm saying, from the blind side, you know. Antoine Hooks, what's up with you? He said, I'm not a reasonable, able adult. I need help Well, yeah, I need help. The help of the banks. Yeah, the bank's gonna come through and help me so much. The banks want to help you so much that they offer you like 0.08% or some shit to hold your savings account. You know, they just want to help. You know, what up, Keith? He said your friendly neighborhood bank. Yeah, it's the banksters, the big banks. You know, the bigger the bank, the better. All right. It was the banks. You know, the banks. They said no. The banks need to. The banks have to survive more than people needed to have houses. That that bank. Those banks. Those banks. Those banks who are too big to fail, but you know, kicked you out of your house. You know, it was those banks. Mm.
Banks and P2P platforms to simply tell fraud victims that they are out of luck. This state of affairs is unacceptable for consumers. Billion-dollar banks and payment platforms are far more able to spread the cost of protecting consumers from errors and fraud across the system. By comparison, a single error or instance of fraud can be devastating to an individual consumer.
yo, yo, yo.
To ensure that P2P apps are secure for their users and do not continue to be powerful tools for fraudsters, action by Congress is urgently needed.
Action by Congress is urgently needed. This is what I'm saying. Reaching out to Big Daddy government, they need to come help us. Reaching out, Big Daddy government can do something. Big Daddy, this like what? This like the third time I done played this for y'all. The government coming in to do some stuff to help, right? The banks use your tax money to get bailed out of foreclosure on your crib when you got behind. Yeah. Yeah, it's the banks. ESO Novo says social credit rating score will tie into this free currency system. Man, we haven't even got to that. We haven't even got to that point yet, bro. No, we haven't even got there. We haven't even got there. It's the government. They're here to help.
My written testimony includes a number of legislative actions to strengthen protections for consumers.
Anyways, we got to get past this guy. Let's get to, y'all know Al Green, you know. Yo, I found some wild clips of Al Green getting flame roasted. Yo, they had to get Trump the hell up out of there, dog. Al Green was getting worked on, man. He goes, yo, don't look up Al Green clips, fam. But here he is.
Presentation of your testimony.
Thank you very much, Chairman Green, members of the committee. My name is Norma Garcia. I am the Policy Counsel for Mission Economic Development Agency in San Francisco, California. Since 1973, the Mission
California, get your people.
Economic Development Agency has been advancing a mission towards creating equity for Latinos and immigrants seeking a better life.
Latinos and immigrants, huh? Yeah, because I'm sure they want to deal with banks. I'm sure they're just dying to deal with banks. All right, they love. I'm gonna tell you right now, here in Texas, here in Dallas, right? If you go to a Mexican restaurant, the best Mexican restaurants, all right, they only take cash, fam. If you go in there and try to process your debit card or whatever, they not taking debit cards. All right. They will tell you, hey, you can use the ATM machine, but you got to pay with cash. The best Mexican restaurants. They got ATM machines in them. You are not going to pay them with a debit card. Keep saying authentic Tex-Mex like Taco Bell. Nah. Nope. That's not how it works, fam. The best Mexican restaurants, they only take cash. Straight up.
We are a Latino-led nonprofit organization that invests in the lives of our underserved Latino families through direct services, community development initiatives, and policy advocacy. You've asked me to focus my testimony on a few questions, and I will get to those now. So you've asked for policy recommendations to protect consumers and marginalized communities from adverse implications of a cashless society. And I will say that because many of the community members we serve fall into several categories of vulnerability, as outlined in my written testimony, we do not support the idea of moving to a cashless economy.
Yo, people think they're going to be able to stop this cashless society. There is no stopping it. Skyfall TV said go. Yeah, we here. We too deep. We too deep in it now. We too deep in it now. We way too deep in it now. Now you got people that think they're gonna stand out here and say, hey, we do not support a cashless society. Okay, well, we don't care if you support it or not. Guess what? The you know what dollar is coming. The you know what dollar is coming. All right. The you know what dollar is coming. So it's like so you and your people over there in Little Mexico, all right, in California, you don't support a cashless society, and we know why. Okay? The reason why you don't support a cashless society is because you may have to identify yourself for this to work. And again, y'all know me, get it how you live. But I've said it plenty of times on this channel. There will be no more under the table money. There will be no more under the table money. There will be no more sneaking into the next class up. All right. There will be no more of that. All right. Side jobs and whatnot. No. We're going to a cashless society. And before I wrap this whole live stream up, I'm gonna give y'all a hint at how all of this ends. All right. And it has nothing to do with Shiba Inu. that's your hint. has nothing to do with Dogecoin. All right. Jonathan said RIP economic mobility. I mean, it is what it is, man. Laura said Alejandro fruit stand in trouble. Man, listen. Where you know, that paleta, that paleta, Hector coming through with the paletas. I mean, just how it's gonna have to go down, fam. I'm sorry, but ain't no more getting that straight cash bread.
To do so would perpetuate a growing income inequality by making it harder for people who use cash and don't have access to credit and technology to effectuate a cashless payment.
Hey, listen. This is insanity. All right? This is insanity. People who are able to get cash, they still are current with electronics and everything else. That may be the only part of their life where they're behind. Okay, because these people who take cash only, they got the latest iPhone. All right, they drive nice trucks. Right? JP said, bro, ask Keith. These Mexican dudes out here, they got fencing companies, concrete companies, roofing companies. Man, they can't speak no English. They ride around King Ranch, high country, $70,000 trucks, lifted with the big tires and shit. You know what I'm saying? Getting it in. Getting it in. All right. They at the Home Depot standing outside, ready to lay the best wood flooring you ever had. Okay, do a way better job than you ever could. That's it, man. And you know, for me, in my house in the garage, the roofing was done with nails instead of screws, right? So when it gets hot and it gets cold, it expands. So around those nails, the drywall started like coming down. So like in my garage, like it was like the ceiling was literally like coming down. And I didn't even trip. I knew where to go. I went to Home Depot, you know. I said, hey, you fix it roofy? He said, yeah, I'll fix it roofy. I said, how much? They got in. We rode to my house. He said, okay, you get the materials? I got the materials. He said, all right, we'll do it. $300. I said, bet. $300. I went, got the materials. They showed up the next day in the morning. They had these like stilts they was walking on so they could be up close to the. Man, it was no way I would have, bro. They knocked the whole garage roof. They redid the whole thing. They put screws instead of nails, and for $300, man, they did it. A awesome job, and it took them. I felt ripped off by how fast they did it. They did it fast and neat, and I was like, damn. Guess what? I went to the ATM. I took out $300. They all got $100 a piece, and they all made $100-something an hour in 1 hour. That was a fair exchange. It was between me and them. That was it. There was no there was no issue. I didn't. There was no problem. You know what I'm saying, with cash. I wasn't sitting there like, you know what? I'm disenfranchised. They're disenfranchised, right? I didn't. It was just that's what it was. Knocked it out. So yeah, of course, of course, they don't want to see a cashless system, you know, where they have to have some kind of ID or something like that. Of course, they playing. Rocco Killer said, "You found Amon muy buenos." Yeah, snuck past the taxes and all the rest of that shit, you know, and that was good. They was happy. I was happy. That was it. He said no estimates, no hassle, no nothing. Absolutely. They came in, looked up, said $300. I said, all right. They had it done before lunchtime. I was able to put my stuff back in the garage. And it was awesome. So, you know, you got people that's fighting to keep, you know, cash, but it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen.
We cannot exclude a portion of the population from the economy, and quite a large portion of the population. That's not good for our communities. That's not good for our country. And we must remain vigilant in ensuring that our economy is inclusionary and accessible to everyone.
So here we go. You know, cash is not inclusive. Right? This is where we go into. Emotion politics is they're going to try to push that. That's not going to work. That is not going to work. All the rest of the emotional, emotionalism, politics is not going to work with this. They listen. That's not going to work. The disenfranchised, the disadvantaged communities. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to work with this because I'm telling you, the banks with the tanks, they on a mission. They definitely on a mission. All right. January said $40 Nation got issues. He said, I'm in Phoenix. These Mexicans out here take debit, credit, restaurants, tire shop, food trucks. Yeah. A lot of those, like I hear, right? It's like that as well, but they all get paid. You know what I'm saying? Even though, let's say, like, cause me, I hit a tire shop in a minute and I'll pay with debit. But I know for a fact, everybody working in that motherfucker, man, they getting paid in cash. They getting paid in cash.
I do believe this committee is asking the right questions. You're asking us to consider the impact on the most vulnerable populations. And that's what we call essentially an equity impact analysis.
Equity impact analysis. No, this whole the reason for this is so they can say, well, we thought about that. So when they go ahead and do it, it don't look like they didn't consider everybody. That's what this meeting is. This meeting, what you are hearing here is cover for the future. All right. This is in the future when people start, railing against the you-know-what dollar. They're going to say, hey, whoa. We had different people come in, talk about this. We had committee hearings. We thought this out. That's what this one is for.
It's kind of a corollary to an environmental impact analysis. And we think it's an essential piece of any policy proposal that is coming before us for consideration. So what is the impact on the most vulnerable communities? Well, we can tell you that in San Francisco, my organization serves a highly vulnerable population that does not share equally in the economic boom that is San Francisco and Silicon Valley.
So cash is different. So cash allows them to see. This is what I'm saying. This is the bullshit argument. Yeah, this pre-damage control. That's what this is. Yeah, yeah, that's what this is. Well, we told y'all that we was going to the you-know-what dollar. I don't know why y'all acting crazy. We told y'all we was going to the you-know-what dollar. Yeah.
In fact, due to growing income inequality, San Francisco's Latino community lives in one of the nation's ground zeros for displacement of Latinos from a community they have called home for generations.
Now, think about this, right? The way she talking is like it's two different monies. Like Silicon Valley is using a different dollar. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, we disenfranchised over here. But it's like, no, understand we're using the same dollar. It's the same dollar. All right? It's the same dollar. Disenfranchisement based on income and stuff like that has nothing to do with what type of how the money is moving. In fact, Silicon Valley and them probably got more tentacles in their business than the disenfranchised, right? Because like I said, the disenfranchised is getting it in and with cash, paper dollars, right? That's what's going on. In fact, I bet Silicon Valley wish they could operate like the disenfranchised. You know, this whole argument is weak.
We believe that a proper equity impact analysis demands that Once it's determined that a particular policy proposal will have a negative adverse impact, we need to figure out, like, if this is not working and it's going to adversely impact the most vulnerable, we should move on to other ideas.
Other ideas. So if we go ahead and pull the dollar out, if we go in and we pull the dollar out and we go into a cashless society and we find out that it's affecting the my community in a way that we don't like, we may want to bring out some other ideas. Like the only other idea would bring back physical money. That would be the other idea. But the you know what dollar is coming. the you know what dollar is coming. You better believe it. Okay? The you know what dollar is coming. All right. So all this disenfranchised, these people, those people, we finna get into it because this is finna get deep. This live stream finna get deep. Go ahead and hit the like button. All right. As we proceed to give you what you need. As we proceed. All right. Don't disrespect the content. All right. Shout out to B Mays, man. I appreciate it, bro. He said for all the factual, he said niggas don't know how bad it's getting. And B Mays got a cannabis business, right? Banks can't even, they have to do all kind of funny stuff to go around banks because marijuana is not legal on the federal level. So you can't have funds going into something that's federally insured. You know what I'm saying? So they play those games with the big banks that's supposed to be protecting so much. All right. They're supposed to be protecting, but they don't take your money from your legitimate business. Okay. They get to decide whose business is legitimate. They already doing that. All right. They already doing that. The banks are already deciding whose money they want to take and whose money they don't want to take. You know, insane.
And ideally, if there are other mitigating circumstances are being considered and determining if there's a path forward, the communities that are most affected must be at the table. We need to find new ways to coexist with existing practices like electronic payment options, in addition to cash payments. It's one way to protect consumers in those communities that are marginalized from having outsized adverse implications.
Bruh, the fight for the paper dollar is not going to work. It's just not going to work. GSX Gaming, what's up with you, man? It's not going to work. Okay? So you sit here watching these people fight for the paper dollar. It's not going to work. Yeah, keyword protect. There go that word again. That we gotta protect. We gotta protect. And the way she laid it out was that, oh, well, the people who have the least amount of impact on the economy needs to be at the table. It's like, man, these people are crazy.
We are doing this in San Francisco. We passed an ordinance in 2019, and essentially it's something that can serve as a model in other parts of the country. Essentially, we're talking about preserving cash as a payment option, which can coexist with other payment options. We've identified the universe of businesses to which this applies. We have created reasonable parameters around any exceptions. We're educating businesses and community members about their rights and obligations. And we're creating effective mechanisms for monitoring and enforcing this new ordinance.
So again, in San Francisco, they forcing people to use paper dollars. They forcing people to accept paper dollars. Like, yo, you have to take paper dollars. All right? You have to take cash. You have to. All right? You have to. I don't know why these people think they're creating some kind of safe haven against the you-know-what dollar. The you-know-what dollar is on the way. And they're not going to discriminate either. They're going to let everybody get the you-know-what dollar. And I'm telling you right now that the you-know-what dollar is not going to leave anybody out, okay? Everybody's going to have a you-know-what account for their you-know-what dollars. That's what's going on. And it's going to be free because the best things in life are free. All right? Watch.
This is super important, and we're happy to share this with you. On the impacts of a cashless society, I think other witnesses have clearly said this in very effective ways. We know that those who suffer most in a cashless society are immigrant communities, our senior citizens.
Right, immigrant communities. Because again, you know, you go open up a bank account in a big bank, you know, they want your information. All right, they want your information. Okay, if you're not a citizen, you may have a hard time, you know, but I think they made a loophole. It was a loophole. I'm not up on it, but I know they had a situation where here in Texas that they were able to illegal immigrants were able to open up bank accounts, and yeah, they was using. I mean, it was all kinds of, but they was going at it. But yeah, cashless is the way to go for the immigrants.
Unbanked and or unhoused persons, and others who are likely to depend on cash. And I think that one constituency that has that not been mentioned are young people who may not be able to get a bank account, but need to be able to transact in cash.
Right. So young people, young people, yo, then this is what I'm saying. Young people need to be able to, that's what I'm saying. They're going to use everything. They're going to try everything to try to keep the old dollar, but it's not going to work. Let me fast forward over here.
This committee for the opportunity to testify. My name is Beverly Brown Ruja, and I'm the Financial Justice Director for New Jersey Citizen Action, a statewide nonprofit organization working since 1984 for social, racial, and economic justice through advocacy, organizing, and community empowerment programs for low and moderate income New Jerseyans. I will be underscoring much of what has been said, and it's based on what we're experiencing in our state. In 2019, New Jersey passed bipartisan legislation to protect consumers' choice to use cash as payment for most retail purchases. The legislature acted because denying cash as a form of payment for goods and services discriminates against people who cannot afford or are unable to obtain non-cash payment options. Additionally, the practice potentially subjects consumers to unnecessary costs, violations of privacy, and to cybersecurity risks.
Man, they're going to try everything. It's not going to work. You can use security. All right. You can use security. You can use inequality. You can use all of that. You can use all of that. It's not going to work. The banks with the tanks got a plan. And the plan is total dominance and control. This is already outdated. All right. Pitmaster say I use Tap sometime. Yeah, I use Google Pay. And man, they got it on the snack machines at work. Pay for gas, everything.
Cashless payment policies discriminate against communities of color and low-income customers.
Top Cat, what's up with you, Chief? Now we sit over here talking about, you know, cashless society is disenfranchising people of color, right? Now, I'm telling you right now, everybody already on Cash App. You know what I'm saying? when you talk about, man, if you sit here talk about people don't understand how to get money, man, are you crazy? Are you insane? Are you, like, this is what I'm saying, like, you are absolutely out of your mind trying to use race in this. You know, especially black, everywhere black people at. Like, I think black people, we was the first people on Cash App. That's the first time I started seeing Cash App. Go to V Live, man, the strip club, man. Guess what? The strippers in there taking Cash App, man. What y'all talking about, man? What you talking about? Man, I just bought some barbecue and paid with Cash App. What are y'all talking about? The hood been on Cash App. They been on it. Cash App all on Instagram profiles and shit, man. What is this lady talking about? He said the stimulus checks gonna come as, yeah, Faber. That's all. We ain't even got to the UBI part of this yet. We ain't even got to the UBI part of this. Bobby Transparency said, first time I ever watched one of your videos like 45 days ago. I was at 4,000. I'm currently at 121,000 in Ethereum from NFTs. Man, I appreciate that, man. But again, y'all know me. Don't say thank you. Hit the Cash App. They got know what, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy for you. You know? I'm happy that you was able to make over 100-some bands off NFTs. You know what I'm saying? You can show your appreciation by hitting the Cash App right here in the lower left screen, dog. You know what I'm saying? All that thank you shit, man. You know what I'm saying? That don't do nothing. That don't do nothing for your boy, man. But again, I'm glad you're doing good with that, man. NFTs, man. I'm telling y'all, like, y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know. Yo, NFTs doing some crazy. Y'all think this is, man, listen. Anyways. Motherfuckers don't want to listen. They don't have to listen. But where was I? Your boy Day Trader said I stayed off Cash App for a few years because I thought it was some nigga shit. Hey, listen, man. Listen. Pitmaster said, let's talk UBI. We not, Pitmaster, this is a slow walk to the UBI part. This is a slow part. He said, all of us up on Telegram. Yeah, Telegram, Patreon. If you're not part of the Patreon group, that's where we going in depth with it. You know what I'm saying? That's where we deep diving into it. You know, this is all surface level stuff that people not even seeing the surface level stuff. So if somebody could drop the Patreon link in the chat box, I greatly appreciate it. He said, Banks with the tanks knocking everybody down. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Disproportionately. As has been cited, the FDIC showed that 7.1 million Americans are unbanked or live in households where no one has a bank account. According to the study, almost 15% of African American households and about 13% of Latino households are unbanked, compared with just 2 to 3% of white households.
Now, again, a bank. Why? Why? Is that a bad thing not to deal with a bank? Do you have to deal with a bank? Do you have to hit the bank? Grandmaster Troll said, damn, a nigga hit for 100 bands and didn't hit the Cash App, but talking about thank you for the video, you know it's cap. That's what I'm saying. Like, man, let me know it's real, man. Shit, you know. Michael Donaldson, I appreciate the subscription. So this is what we dealing with, where it's like, yo, banks is mandatory. Banks is mandatory. Yo, these people are operating without banks. But again, where is the outrage? Where are the people hitting the streets demanding that the banks be a part of their lives, man? This is what I want y'all to understand. This is what I want y'all to understand. When I tell y'all that people present and invent problems for sheep, that's what this bank thing is. All right? That's what the bank thing is. All right? The bank thing is, yo, they don't have a bank. It's like, you know what? We don't have a bank. You know, we don't have a bank. You know, we need a bank. We need a bank. We need to be banked. And this is the trap that they set, you know. Okay, well, here it is. Well, we're gonna get you set up with the bank, you know. Now you got overdraft fees and shit that you never had before. Now you got maintenance fees that you never had before. It's like, wait a minute. You know, Cash got the best overdraft protection. All right? Because guess what? You can't overdraft with Cash. All right? You cannot overdraft with the Cash. It's like, okay, well, I'm a force this transaction through without all the money. It's not gonna work. I mean, you could try it, but it could go. It could not end up how you think it's gonna end up. You know, it's like saying, yeah, I know it's only 80% of what I'm supposed to have, but you know, I'll give you the rest when I get paid. I'll give you the rest when I get paid. You know. Shout out to Pitmaster. Yeah, they were who we thought they were. Yo, the banks. Motherfuckers just dying. Oh, what do you want to have bank issues? This lady right here advocating for the banks. Grandmaster Troll, he said, Bobby Transparency, he said, you can't drop some love for your boy TipTycity though. You hit for 100K, right? That's that smoke. That's that smoke. I appreciate the super chat.
Another 24 million households are underbanked, meaning that at least one household member has a bank account but does not generally use credit cards or other traditional bank credit products. Indigenous and working age disabled households and households with volatile income are also among the unbanked and underbanked at high rates.
So, oh man, this is one of those things where it's just like, you know, I get kind of frustrated. Was like, yo, this is sheep talk. It's like, this is sheep talk. Like they don't even understand the trap that they walking into, where it's just like, yo, big daddy government, they're not dealing with big daddy government. They're not putting big daddy government in their finances like that. They're just not. They're not paying overdraft fees. They're not paying maintenance fees. They're not taking out goofy personal loans. They just not. Black people are not being taken advantage of by the banks like white people are. It sounds crazy, I know. It sounds crazy. She getting a check from Goldman Sachs. Yeah, it sounds crazy. It's like, black people are not involved with big banking protocols. They're not subjecting themselves to all kind of fees and redlining and all the rest of the whatever that's happened in the past, you know? Predatory lending practices, subprime loans. They're unbanked. This is a problem. White people are with the banks.
A 2018 Reveal News report demonstrated that redlining persists in this country and still denies millions of low and moderate income people, especially Black and brown people, access to banking services.
Now, this is what irritates me the most, right? It's just like, man, don't get me started. 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 I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. But I will say, if somebody don't fuck with you, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. Just cringy, man. It's cringy. It's cringy. You know, and it's to the point where we do know that they don't fuck with us. They don't like us. We do know that. It's okay, well. Next, what's your next move?
And accounts. Even where possible, opening a bank account requires documents which many low-income and elderly people do not have.
Man, come on, man. See what I'm saying? It's like, well, Black people don't have documents. Your low income is the reason why you don't have documents. Your low income is the reason why you don't have What the fuck? Come on, man. Keith said, I mean, Wells Fargo did essentially have to pay out a redlining class action lawsuit a few years ago. I mean, yeah, they had to pay out for redlining, but guess what? That was nothing. That was nothing. Keep the shit going, man. Just pay them so they can shut up. Just pay them so they can shut up. God damn. These motherfuckers over here, man. Just pay them so he can shut up, man. How much was it? I'd be curious to know. Yeah, it's like, oh, well, you're poor, and that's why you don't have any documents. What?
People experiencing homelessness usually cannot provide utility bills or other proof of address needed to open a bank account.
No, you can't provide a utility bill if you're homeless. No, you can't. See what I'm saying? Yeah, moving right along, man. I'm telling you, man, this shit cringy.
Online banking services also require, as has been said, reliable and affordable internet access, which low and fixed income people often cannot afford.
So you can't bank without the internet. Can't bank without the internet. So if you are an American citizen, you have documents. If you lose them, go to the vital statistics and get a new copy. Absolutely, man. Keith said it only cost him $10 million. Yeah, $10 million, man, that ain't shit. 10 million ain't shit, man. 10 million? Man, please. 10 million? They probably make that like hourly. That's probably what they make on the hour.
And people for whom English is not their first language are more likely to be unbanked than native English speakers. But the main reason cited by 29% of the FDIC survey's respondents is not having enough money to maintain the minimum balances required to open and maintain a bank account.
Why do you want it? Why do you want it? If you don't have enough money to maintain the $5 or $6 that they charge for maintenance fee, why do you want the damn bank account? All right? Why do you want the damn bank account? And this is what I'm telling you. We get in there. We are slowly approaching that point because free bank accounts are about to happen. Okay? Free bank accounts for the you know what dollar is coming. It's coming. It's on the way.
Cashless policies specifically penalize individuals and households who cannot afford a bank account, a credit card, and the consumer credit products needed to make non-cash payments. The alternatives to credit cards, such as prepaid cards or mobile devices, are costly. A study by the Financial Health Network found that in 2018, unbanked and underbanked households spent $180 billion in fees and interest on non-bank financial products.
Oh, that's how they make money, lady. Anyways, let me move on to the next person because yeah. What we got right here? All right. Oh, he gonna come in with the bullshit.
Of the LGBTQ caucus.
All right, here we go. More bullshit. Here we go.
Members of the committee, my name is Alex Valdez. I'm a state representative from Colorado's House District 5, which encompasses downtown Denver. My district, like Denver's population, is heavily Latino.
Bro, they like these Mexicans. They fighting for their cash, man. They do not want to go to a cashless society. They may be the first one to have a big pushback. Miguel Gritton, shout out to TipTycity for the stream and the NFT tips, man. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you, fam.
District is 40% Latino, and Colorado's population as a whole is nearly 22% Latino. As a Latino and a representative, the chair of the Latino caucus and chair of the LGBTQ caucus.
Oh. Okay, all right. You want a lot of caucuses? No homo. Pause.
As well as chair of the Energy and Environment Committee, I am more than familiar with how minority communities are affected by the policies we make on their everyday lives. During Colorado's 2021 legislative session, I sponsored House Bill 1048. It was titled, Concerning a Requirement that Retail Establishment Accept Retail Currency for Purchases. House Bill 1048 required retail establishments offering goods or services to accept United States currency as a form of payment for in-person transactions.
Now, U.S. currency is not going anywhere. Do not let these Bitcoin people fool you, okay? The you know what dollar is on the way, okay? So I sit there like, you must take U.S. you must take U.S. currency. Yes, there is going to be a U.S. currency. The U.S. currency is not going anywhere, all right?
Retail establishments that do not comply may be fined up to $250 per transaction. Throughout the stakeholder process, some exceptions were established. However, certain instances that retail establishments need not comply if the transaction is for security deposit being placed on a credit card or if the retail establishment is a bank or a credit union. This was important for rental cars, etc. The catalyst for this bill came directly from the community. Marginalized communities within House District 5 and underbanked and banked Coloradans were struggling to survive as the myth that COVID-19 spread on cash.
This is not a conspiracy. This is a talking point that they use to make people go contactless. That's why the thumbnail is what it is. All right. Now imagine unbanked or underbanked. Like you don't have enough bank. You're underbanked. You know, shout out to Engineer Cannabis. He said Denver needs the cashless due to cannabis. Yeah, $250 per transaction. Yeah, y'all better take these Mexican money. And that's one thing I can say about the Hispanics and the Mexicans, the immigrants. They are funding these people to get on here and say this. They looking out for their folks. All right? They looking out for their folks. But it's like, yo, I'm on this caucus. I'm on that caucus. You know what I'm saying? And I represent the Hispanics. I represent the Latinos. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Y'all need to stop with this. You know, if y'all don't take our cash, under the table money, you know, we can find you. And that's the political way, though. But unfortunately, it's not gonna work. All right, that the shit, it's about to be up. It's about to be up. You know, the fight for the under the table money is not gonna happen, man.
But not on credit or debit cards. Spread throughout the state, country, and the world, this war on cash is not a new concept, but one that we saw grow exponentially during the global health pandemic, adding even more strain to families having to navigate a tumultuous time. This attack on cash has long affected minority communities, creating inequalities in every facet of the economy. In 2017, 4.2% of Coloradans did not have any sort of bank account, and 17.3% of Coloradans were underbanked.
Now, again, they spout out all of these numbers and statistics and whatnot, but they can't come to the conclusion that maybe people don't like banks. Maybe people just don't like banks. Maybe that's why they you know what I'm saying? They are going to create narratives as to why people are not banked. You know, Miguel Grin said, "Is anybody overbanked?" Yeah, that's the trick. Once you become banked, you become overbanked. And this is what they was talking about. Well, most people can't afford to even keep the bank account open. Good luck.
Which results in many having to use cash for everyday necessities. According to a 2017 Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation report, it was estimated that 25% of all American households are either underbanked or underserved. This is roughly 32 million households without a bank account or access to traditional banking systems, including debit and credit cards.
Again, and I'm not seeing nobody take to the streets demanding the banks become a part of their lives. That's not how it works. It's not how it's working.
To deny so many people a sole method of purchasing power is wrong, especially when a third of low-income qualifying individuals and 17% of Latinos countrywide use cash for all purchases. Cash usage is still prevalent and important throughout our society.
Man, let me move right along to the next person. I think this guy right here, he actually advocating for cashless.
Members of the committee, I am Todd Zawicki. I am the George Mason University Foundation Professor of Law at Antonin Scalia Law School, Senior Fellow of the Cato Institute. And during the 2020 year, I served as the chair of the CFPB's Task Force on Consumer Financial Law, which gave me a unique perspective on these issues.
Shout out to Ramil. I appreciate you sharing the stream, bro.
A unique perspective on consumer finance and financial protection during a time of unprecedented challenges and unprecedented acceleration of these trends that we have seen with respect to the migration towards electronic payments over the last several years. Let me make clear at the outset, I am neither in favor of banning cash, nor am I in favor of requiring cash. I am sensitive to the issues here. I am very sensitive to the issues of financial inclusion, and that was the centerpiece of our CFPB task force report, was how to increase financial inclusion so that nobody is left behind. And as we see this transition toward a more cashless society, to make sure nobody is left behind here.
Hey, nobody's going to be left behind in this cashless society. You better believe that. You're not going to have a choice but to not be left behind.
Here also. But I'm also aware of the advantages to consumers, to businesses, and the economy from the developments that we have seen and the developments we saw this past year. It has been said that 6 months of time was telescoped into maybe 3 years of accelerated transition during the past year during the pandemic with respect to electronic payments. But I think that this, like many other things, dealing with this is presumptively left to the market and to voluntary choice of consumers and businesses. unless there's compelling evidence to the contrary. We saw a similar transition during my own lifetime with the virtual elimination of checks, which were a very popular and ubiquitous and maybe the most important payment system for most people. And during our lifetime, we saw a phasing out of checks simply because of the cost of checks and the preferred convenience and cost of electronic payments. Let's make a couple of things clear at the outset, which is first, I think that these trends we've seen during the past year are inevitable. They're going to continue. And I think over time, we are going to continue to see a decline in the use of cash.
When he says it's inevitable, that's exactly what's happening. It's inevitable. There is no way around it. It is 100% inevitable. It is the next step. All right. Just like you said, okay, we had cash, then we went to checks. You know what I'm saying? Now the next thing, the cash is finna be gone. It's gonna be gone. It's gonna have to be gone. And I'm gonna explain why after we get through what they talking about.
An increase in the use of electronic payments. Generational change is supporting this. New entrants by businesses are supporting this, especially because a lot of the cost of accepting cash are fixed costs that legacy businesses have in terms of installing vaults, security systems, cash registers, and the like. But at the same time, we also know that a lot of consumers are going to continue to want to use cash. A lot of businesses are going to continue to want to accept cash. Especially larger legacy businesses who have made these investments. And so I think at this point, there's no reason to intervene to either compel the use of cash or to prohibit it. And I think the reason for these trends are clear. There are benefits to businesses, which quite clearly will trickle through to consumers. I detailed these in my testimony, but the first is simply it can be less expensive. The primary cost of cash, in addition to the capital startup costs that I mentioned, are labor costs. As labor costs go up, cash is very labor intensive. And so as labor becomes more expensive, and we know we're in an economy right now with labor shortages, that increases the relative cost of handling cash. Payments are becoming more faster.
Now, let me explain what he meant by that. Cash is being labor intensive. When you see the Brinks trucks, that's labor intensive. All right. When you see a cash register with somebody sitting there doling out cash, that's labor intensive. All right. So security and all the rest of that stuff, that is it's a cost in that. The manufacturing of physical paper dollars and whatnot. All right. That's what it is. He said so much labor to print money. Well, you got to understand that we're going to be dealing with carbon footprints. We're going to start dealing with energy consumption things, right? That's what's going on. Carbon taxes and shit like that. So you're not going to be able to run these big printing mills, these big coin minting factories, like all that stuff is. I'm telling y'all, man, it's finna be gone. It's finna be gone. Pitmaster said pretty soon cashier is gonna be obsolete. Yep.
More convenient. Also, to state an obvious observation, cash is less hygienic, especially for food in food establishments, and that's why a lot of places banned or chose not to take cash at sandwich shops and the like. There's also benefits to consumers in terms of crime concerns and the like, and there's benefits to society in terms of reduced crime and tax evasion. And small business and new entrants could probably benefit them the most. We should also recognize that there are benefits to even unbanked consumers, excluded consumers, from trying to increase access to electronic payments. Cash is not free. We have a lot of check cashers. They charge a lot. They've got concerns about crime. Cash can be inconvenient. It can be difficult to obtain cash. They can have trouble. It's difficult to make online purchases and the like. And so my view is that rather than propping up cash, it will be better to look at what it is, the factors that are excluding consumers and promote greater competition and innovation to open and expand electronic payments to other consumers. I list several in my testimony. I think we should have broader credit union chartering to serve underserved communities. I think we need more industrial loan company chartering. I think fintech can help solve this problem. I think better competition and portability in bank accounts can do this. And I also think that a faster payment system that would allow checks to clear faster will help consumers very much as well who rely on check cash.
Boom. 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 Fast payments. Fast payments to settle instantly. That's what we need. we need money to be settled faster. I think fintech, financial technology, is a solution. It's coming. It's right around the corner. It's right around the corner.
And the like. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, Professor. It's now my honor to recognize the gentlewoman from California, the chair of the full committee, for 5 minutes of questions. Madam Chair, you're recognized.
Thank you so very much. And I certainly appreciate this hearing.
Oh, man. Yo, these liberal people are so cringe. He said the gentlewoman instead of saying gentleman. He said gentlewoman. Just the cringe. I just caught that he said that. This is the gentlewoman. It's just other ways to address a woman, like a gentlewoman. Ugh.
This is very important. Millions of Americans still use cash as primary method of payment, including disproportionately communities of color, unhoused persons, the
Yeah, that's Auntie Maxie.
underbanked and unbanked, elderly persons, and immigrants without documentation, among others. Many businesses
Immigrants without documentation. Shout out to Megan Michelle for the subscription. Immigrants without documentation. Think about that. Why immigrants without documentation? There's a problem for immigrants without documentation.
and I certainly appreciate this hearing. This is very important. Millions of Americans still use cash as primary method of payment, including disproportionately communities of color, unhoused persons, the underbanked and unbanked, elderly persons, and immigrants without documentation, among others.
She said immigrants without documentation. Immigrants without documentation. Immigrants without documentation. She just said it. Wow. Cooler, you a fool, bro. What? Skyfall, he said, TipTycity said, you do way more in this space than the rest of these weird fuck niggas. The grind will never stop. Hell no, we got to be on top of this, man. Nobody should be caught off guard by any of this stuff. This is what's going on. Again, this was today. It only got 1,300 views. They over here talking about getting rid of cash, you know, and niggas ain't paying attention. Right, y'all niggas ain't paying attention. We was all over this. We seen this live in the Telegram group. But think about this. Immigrants without documents are having problems getting bank accounts. Yeah. They may have a problem, Auntie Maxie. Again, this is the Logic Sphere. I am your host, TipTycity. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share with your people. Y'all should already hit the like button. Let me see where I'm at. All right, I got 90. All right, yeah, all right. Let's get to 100 likes. Oh, this is crazy. This is crazy, man. She sitting here talking about immigrants without documents. What? They might want to get documents. Lenny Lawman said, I like to subscribe, man. I appreciate that, bro. Teddy Dole said, donate to the church. Yeah, man, I appreciate the support. We got to talk about this because otherwise you're going to get caught off guard. You'll be like, when did that happen? Yesterday.
Many businesses such as tech companies, restaurants, and stores are moving towards going cashless. In some communities, such as communities with low income or migrant populations, many stores are cash only. Do you see the potential for economic segregation?
Man, you know what? Let me go ahead and put this on the books right now, man. Because I want y'all to understand here, because I'd have let this slide. Yo, the Mexicans, they got their own bank out here. They got their own bank out here. I better stop playing. They got their own bank out here. No bullshit. They got their own bank out here. Over here playing. They got their own grocery stores and everything. You know? Fiestas and carnivals and the Mexicans own out here. The immigrants around here, they ain't tripping.
Here, where some consumers are economically shut out of making purchases in certain communities, possibly even where they live or work. Now, let me just segue a bit.
In fact, it's a pizza restaurant out here where they took pesos. Man, what's the name of that pizza? I almost said it. Mr. Jim's Pizza. Mr. Jim's Pizza had to they took pesos. They wasn't finna miss out on that. He said same with the Asians. Got banks, stores, restaurants, etc. Yeah, I don't know where this whole they not even fighting this right. Pin Master said, here come the tears.
And say something. I am very much in support of innovation and looking toward the future and how we can expedite, how we can use the electronic opportunities that are available to us. However, let's talk about what's happening in the real world. Now,
what is the other world? we talk about cash. You know? You know, so money can only be used in the real world. What are you talking about? There is no hypothetical money. There is no what? Hey, what? Wow, they know what I'm saying like this. Oh my God, man. Listen. Let's talk about the real world. Well, we are talking about the real world, Auntie Maxine.
I just referred to the underbanked and the unbanked. Let me tell you about the millions of people who work every day in different ways, some of whom are still cashing checks, at these check cashing places that cost them money, but they don't have banking accounts. They are underbanked. They're not banked at all.
Again, like this whole unbanked, underbanked, it's almost like somebody set this up for them to have this discussion so they could just come in again with the solution. We gonna talk about the solution like we halfway through this, but the solutions have been talked about too, and we're gonna bring up these solutions and how the solutions are going to man listen. Okay, you want banks? You're going to get the banks. You're going to get so much bank. You're going to have so much bank on your head. All right? You're going to have so much bank on your head.
But in addition to that, do you know that there is an underground economy where we have so-called handymen? I'd like to think of as handymen and handywomen who are taking care of communities all across this country.
Right. Now, here's where she getting to talking too much, because the underground economies don't pay taxes. You see what I'm saying? You already advocated for the undocumented immigrants to be, you know what I'm saying? Man, listen. Ay.
They're doing odd jobs, they're painting, they're taking care of lawns, et cetera, and they want cash. They want to be paid in cash. And I and a lot of other people do that. We pay them in cash. These are people who are taking care of their families. These are people who have children. These are people who depend on the cash that they make on a daily basis.
And they do not want to have anything to do with a bank. They don't want anything to do with a bank. They want the cash. Yes, they want the cash. The last thing they want to do is walk into a bank. But we talk about the real world, though. We talk about the real world. Like, she think the man that's cutting the grass is missing out by not dealing with a bank. Tell you, man, unintelligent at best.
In order to have a decent quality of life. Now, I do not want to be in a position where we all move so heavily against, cash as a form of payment.
She thinks she got some kind of control over how this finna go down. I'm telling you, the banks with the tank finna shut all this down. I'm telling y'all right now, all of this whole, we running out of cash, or inflation, we got so much debt. Man, listen, that ain't no problem. I'm telling you, when they bring this new financial system in, that all that stuff going away. Sorry, worldwide.
As a matter of fact, of course, I have credit cards, and of course, I use the database systems in order to.
That's you use the database systems? What? What database systems? What? Huh? You use the database systems? What? Yo, it's a clip of her, right? She went through the whole hearing calling Bitcoin Bitcom. That shit is funny as fuck. If you get a chance, go listen to it. But yeah, Maxine Waters is hilarious, dog. Hilarious. That dude Al Green funny as shit too. She said, "Of course I got debit cards and credit cards. I use the database systems." Ah, shit. Ah. Why do y'all listen, man?
Room if they don't have a credit card, and hotels don't take cash. So having said that, Mr. Brea, what do you say about those people that I'm referring to that are unbanked or underbanked, and how cash systems are the only thing they know and the only thing they use? Are we to forget about them?
Now, this is like This is like how people made the transition from horses to cars. The people driving cars ain't give a shit about the people who are still using horses. You see what I'm saying? The highway system was coming, and it was already being thought out and planned and built. And the people who, you know, the only thing they knew was horses, well, that's just what they got, you know. That's just what they got.
Chairman Waters, no, not at all. And I couldn't agree more with your statements. The need for cash to be a viable payment method for consumers is one that remains with us and will continue to remain with us for many years. Unfortunately, as you mentioned, more and more establishments are choosing to only accept digital payments. That has real costs in terms of access to the marketplace for low-income consumers who often come from marginalized communities, and it has real costs in terms of greater surveillance. When you pay with a digital payment, you necessarily have to give your data to the bank, maybe two banks, the merchant, maybe even a payment processor, and that data is shared with advertisers, data brokers, and others who build often discriminatory profiles on millions of consumers. Cash is an anonymous way for millions of consumers to pay, and I think that they should continue to have that right.
Well, thank you so very much. And I'm going to yield back so that you can move on. I know you have other members who have a lot of questions. Thank you very much. And I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentle lady yields. The chair now recognizes the ranking member, Mr. Emmer, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Chairman Green. And again, thank you to our witnesses for your time and perspectives today as we examine the implications of a cashless economy.
Tom Emmer. I can't remember. I think. Oh man, Tom Emmer. I can't remember. I think he was one of the people that tried to get the infrastructure bill changed to change the definition of broker so they could get more clarity on crypto in the new infrastructure bill. I think it's him. I'm not sure.
While some cities and some states have enacted laws that require businesses to accept cash, there are also businesses that have experimented with a cashless model. There's no one-size-fits-all solution to payment options, of course, and cash is certainly essential to democracy and an open and free society. That said, Professor Zwicky, I want to dive into the reasons a business might not want to accept cash, and I'll ask several questions. I'd appreciate as quick a response as you can give to each. First, retailers have to pay employees to account for cash in the register and at the back of the store.
Uh-oh.
Count the drawer nightly, package it up, and either hire a courier or send an employee to transport it to a bank. And then they have to pay fees for processing and handling. Did I leave anything out, Professor?
I think that pretty much covers all of it. It's a very labor-intensive way to do things.
And there's also some risk that's associated with handling all that cash. The business can be exposed to theft, and the employees can be exposed to danger in the form of robberies. Professor Zwicky, are there costs associated with these types of risks?
Absolutely, Mr. Emmer. There are security costs. There are the cost of hiring armored cars. There's the cost of installing vaults and safes. And
this is the conversation that's going on while motherfuckers is just not paying attention. That's what they talking about out here. Should we have money anymore? That's what's going on. Nobody paying attention. Again, this only has 1,300 views on it.
as you said, there's the cost of, there's the risk to employees who work on the front lines who have a lot of cash on hand.
So, Professor, is it fair to say that a federal requirement to accept cash is effectively a tax on any business that might otherwise prefer to go cashless?
Absolutely, yes.
Businesses that stop accepting cash might boost their bottom line by reducing overhead costs, saving time, and creating some operational efficiencies, no doubt. But Professor Zwicky, do you agree that for some small businesses that may be struggling during the ongoing pandemic, those savings might actually be the difference between staying open versus going out of business?
I think that's exactly right. And I think one of the points here is that legacy businesses have already incurred a lot of these costs, surveillance, security systems, safes, all these sorts of things. New businesses, however, they're completely unnecessary in many cases for a lot of these businesses. And so it's just a cost, it's a tax imposed on them by incumbents that blocks small businesses, blocks new entrants of new businesses. And so it could really make the difference for many of these businesses.
Mm. The future is here. The future is here. The future. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. These are the arguments that's going to change everything within the next year or so. Within the next year or so. All right. We sit back, we watch, and we listening to this. When they say, "Hey, these businesses are actually having to deal with more overhead costs." Now, think about this. Think about this. You got Pitmaster. He just opened his business, right? What if he said, "Man, I'm going cashless. I don't want to have to deal with, the security risks and all the rest of this stuff either." Because now you have that part. Yeah, Vic, they took our jobs. Exactly. So while we talk about automation and how people are going to lose jobs and stuff like that, like, this is one way I'll admit I never seen that. I never thought about the Brinks truck guys losing out. The guys who service ATMs losing out. You know what I'm saying? I knew the cashier was gonna lose out, but I didn't see that. See what I'm saying? I didn't see that part of it. The people that work at the people who print the money, the people who mint the coins at the foundries. I didn't see all of that stuff. Like, now when we talk about how disruptive all this technology is going to be, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. And again, this is where the UBI, the universal basic income, comes into play, where again, it's just going to be a necessary thing to pay. There is no way around it. Whether you agree with it, whether you don't agree with it, it's just not going to be no way around it. But again, the sheep are going to love it. What? The sheep are going to love it. Crazy Dan said, notice they don't mention all the cash sales the business will lose out on, just the labor costs they will save. Exactly, but that's the thing though, right? So okay, well, you don't sell 5 hamburgers that day, okay, but you don't have to worry about the Brinks truck and deposits and the, you know what I'm saying, all the rest of it. Pitmaster said a lot of jobs finna be obsolete. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, jobs that I didn't even think about. I didn't think about that. Like the brakes truck, think about that. That operation cost. You know what I'm saying? Them trucks heavy. I'm pretty sure they don't get the best diesel mileage. You know what I'm saying? You got to have 2 people on that motherfucker. Then, you got to pay insurance and stuff like that. MJ Hines, I appreciate the subscription. That operation alone is a lot of money. But let's even go deeper than that. We talking about Wells Fargo got that part of their bank. Who else got a bank? I don't know, but I know Wells Fargo does that. They got the armed security stuff. Maybe some other. I think a couple other banks do it too. Yeah, Loomis and Brinks. I mean, they can't transfer money around. You know, I mean, and think about this, right? Now, whenever you say, "Oh," because in the future that's what it's going to be. I run a green business, right? I own a green business. My business is carbon neutral. You can't say that if you got big armored diesel trucks pulling up to collect the money. See what I'm saying? And all of these ratings, these energy ratings, are going to be a big deal in the future too. I can see it. I can see it. Let me see.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your perspective. Technology and payments innovation provides more convenience and affordability for the consumer, certainly. The privacy implications of a cashless economy, however, cannot be emphasized enough as far as I'm concerned. So, as we grapple with preserving privacy and transitioning to a digital economy, I believe we must look to technology.
There is not going to be any privacy moving forward in this, in the new financial system that we finna go into. Like I just, get that out of your head. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of the main reasons why they in a hurry to get rid of cash.
Solutions in payments that preserve the privacy elements of cash. And again, I said it at the beginning of this hearing, I'll say it again. Stable coins and decentralized technology innovations are the first things that come to my mind.
Stable coins. Again, Jerome Powell from the Federal Reserve just says stable coins are like casino coins. And I want, like, y'all know me with the crypto, they're not going to let Tether live. Okay, Tether is in the place right now, but the dollar is coming, and that is going to be the on and off ramp for digital assets. Okay, the European, the pound, the won, the yen, those are going to be the on and off ramps. So when you start hearing them talk about, stable coins, they're not talking. They're not talking about the artificial dollars that are being traded for cryptocurrency right now. That's not what they're talking about. All right. So if you want to see how that play out, join the Patreon. It's pinned at the top of the chat box. That's what we talk about. What you need to be in, what you need to be looking for, how you can just escape all of this and get stupid rich, because it's a wealth transfer that's going to happen in the process of all of this. All right. Yeah, it ain't going to be no competition for the dollar.
Is these are solutions that are actually open, permissionless, and private. Thank you again, Mr. Chair, and all the witnesses for your time. Chair, I yield back the remainder of my time.
The gentleman yields back. The chair now recognizes the chair of the Housing Subcommittee for 5 minutes, Mr. Cleaver, for your questions, please. Mr. Cleaver, you may be muted.
I'm back.
Okay, Mr. Cleaver, you're now recognized for 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I was having some difficulty. Let me first of all say that I'm not some kind of Cro-Magna member of Congress, in 1970, Tyrone Davis said, I'd like to turn back the hands of time. I'm not Tyrone Davis either. However, I am very concerned about a lot of the issues surrounding the whole cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I told you I was finna get good, man. Your boy brought up 1970 and then said, I'm concerned about cryptocurrency. Hey, listen, man. Ay, ay, ay.
And so let me start out by just saying that, you know, I'm concerned about security. I mean, we don't have a chance, Professor, right now, at least apparently there's no know-how, how to trace Bitcoins.
Yo, listen, I'm here to tell you guys, Bitcoin can be traced. Bitcoin has been traceable for quite a while. Oh, this is insane. These are the people who are going to go ahead and push forward to try and shape the future. This guy just said that there's no way to trace Bitcoin. Fam.
So, you know, when we start using this invisible currency, and then we still
Now, invisible currency. Now, again, if you don't have paper dollars, because think about this. The money in your bank account is invisible. If you transfer that money, you've transferred that money to another bank account. You can't see that money. Yeah, keep it techie, he late. When you take money and move it and you wire money somewhere else, that money is invisible. All right. So when he talk about this invisible money, he's like, oh, crypto is invisible, but you deal with invisible US dollars all the time. Okay. These people are unintelligent at best. Okay. You cannot see the money that you use with a debit card. All right. you can't see it. We talking about fiat. Fiat is invisible. Fiat is invisible. Okay. Shout out to Darth Low, man. I appreciate the 20 on the Cash App, man. Thank you, bro. Fiat is invisible. These old people are talking about crypto like fiat is not invisible. They talking about crypto like when you swipe a debit card or a credit card and you move fiat, that they act like they can see that. They act like they can see fiat move electronically. It's incredible. One of the guys at my job, he said, man, you know about that crypto I was thinking the other day? What if the power went out? I just took my hand to my head like, I said, what if the power went out? How are the ATMs going to work? What cash register works without electricity? So, what bank is going to be working when the power goes down? Why is that concern put on crypto? And he looked at me, he said, that's a good point. I was like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. If the power went out, if you had cash, where are you going to spend the cash? With other people? Should be like, yeah. But Listen to Buddy.
Are trying to figure out how to trace Bitcoin. Is that something we should continue to allow in the marketplace or in terms of monetary policy?
He said Bitcoin is in the marketplace, man. Listen. Is that something we should continue to allow in the marketplace? Hi. Which one is it? Is it people are underbanked? Is it people are underbanked, underserved, blah blah, or is it Bitcoin is a problem? Tracing Bitcoin is a problem. So now if you're listening to this, you are in this paradigm where Bitcoin is a problem, banks is a problem, all of these things. And to be honest, here's the thing that this guy doesn't understand is that Bitcoin solves all the other issues that was brought up already, right? Bitcoin doesn't care about your race, your gender. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin doesn't care about where you're from. None of that, just how you know how uneducated these old people are with what's going on. It's scary that they hold these positions, right?
Is this for me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that I think it's a great question, and I think the issue that I think is raised by that is the issue of privacy. And I think one of the things we deal with in this area is that privacy is a double-edged sword. The privacy of cash is a double-edged sword in this.
Right. There's nothing more private than me handing somebody in a parking lot money. There's nothing more private than that. When I leave, that's it. It could never happen.
Sense that we know that widespread use of cash facilitates tax evasion, the shadow economy and the like, while at the same time it preserves legitimate privacy. And I think that's the same questions that are raised by Bitcoin. And I think it's going to be a long time before Bitcoin is widely used in cryptocurrency.
It's going to be a long time before Bitcoin is widely used. I'm of the belief that it's not going to be widely used. It can't be widely used. And again, y'all know how I get down. We do the research and we look into all of this stuff. The amount of power consumption, if Bitcoin was to become what all these Bitcoin maximalists say it's supposed to be, there would not be any electricity left over for anything else. That's just what there's no way around it. There's nowhere. I looked into this. Other people said it. A lot of intelligent people have said it. And that's based off the amount of electricity that it uses now, the amount of energy and computing power that it uses now. If it was to scale globally, where I believe they said even 50% of the world's population was using Bitcoin, it would just be totally unsustainable. But again, smart people know this, sheep don't. Moving right along.
And I think that's one of the reasons is kind of dealing with this trade-off of the good and bad that's associated with privacy with these payment mechanisms.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody else may want to chime in. Some of the other witnesses, because I'm, it's being traced after the exchange is the problem. Would any of the other
What?
witnesses like to respond to this?
I
don't. Go ahead.
Congressman Cleaver, thank you very much for the question. Certainly in my written statement, I talked about the lack of regulations on things like digital payment apps like Zelle or Venmo. When we talk about cryptocurrencies in terms of consumer protections, it's basically a Wild West. Consumers
Yo, listen. Yo, listen. This is wild. It's like, yo, crypto is a wild west. Crypto is a wild west. Now, I just recently started thinking about that statement where people say that crypto is the wild west. And I'm of the belief that if crypto was really as wild as people said it was, there would be absolutely no retail in crypto because everybody would have got burnt out already. It would have been done. If crypto was really the wild west and people were just taking L's at such a substantial amount, crypto would have died already. So this whole, it's the wild, wild west. What they really mean is we need to tame it. We need to control it. We need to take the power away from the people who are using it.
Consumers really have no protections in place when, for example, someone hacks their Coinbase account and steals.
Right. Again, Coinbase, the account, it is not the crypto, okay? Exchanges get hit, and that's because people leave their crypto on exchanges. And if you don't have the keys, you don't have the cheese. All right. So that's what it is. And again, that comes with being financially responsible for your cryptocurrency or your tokens. Okay. Because everything that is a digital asset is not a currency.
All of their bitcoins. Consumers, we hear stories of this constantly happening. So I think that it's a space where there needs to be much stronger consumer protection regulation. But to Mr. Zwicky's point about the
oh yeah, they're gonna protect. I keep telling y'all, the sheep are gonna they're gonna protect the shit out of the sheep.
Anonymity of cryptocurrency, I would just have to add that an important distinction to make between cryptocurrency and cash is that cash is backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. It's
cash is backed by the government.
Heavily regulated by in its production, and the Bureau of Printing and Engraving creates them. Cryptocurrencies are only based on the faith of people who create them and who have them in their wallets. So
again, we dealing with people who have absolutely no clue. They should not even be talking about this. They shouldn't even be talking about this. They definitely, they shouldn't even be bringing this up, mentioning it, nothing.
I hesitate to sort of compare apples to apples, to think you're comparing apples to apples when you're talking about cash versus cryptocurrency.
Yeah, well, and let me stay with you on that. So you know, creating this cashless economy, and I really try not to hang back in time, but I it is chilling to think that somebody's hard-earned money can be wiped out. Wouldn't it be better? Or let me ask.
Man, that happens all the time with hedge funds. People hard-earned money gets wiped out through all types of stuff, like stock market crashes. All of these regulated entities have wiped people's life savings out before. All right, don't get it twisted. Horrible arguments.
You answer the question. Do you believe that we should perhaps hold up on things like Bitcoin until we figure out how we can trace at least the exchange?
He said, hold up. He don't understand it's decentralized. There is no we, they, them. There is no holding up decentralized technology like that. This is how behind these guys are. This is what I'm saying. They have no business even talking about this.
Because right now people can get wiped out and there's no recourse because they can't even. I don't even think the FBI right now possesses the technology to figure out where the money went.
Well, Congressman, I certainly think that greater scrutiny of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is needed. I know that the SEC and various regulatory bodies and the executive branch are currently looking at that. But in terms of whether the spread of these cryptocurrencies can be held up, as you put it, I think the cat is out of the bag. I think it's very easy to create new cryptocurrencies by anybody in the United States or abroad. And I think we need to look at regulating them to make sure that they are as safe as possible rather than trying to prevent their use altogether.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. In the time for Congress to start thinking about regulations.
So, yeah, there's that. Let me see. I've been on here for 2.5 hours. Should I do a part 2 on this tomorrow? I want to do a part 2 on this tomorrow. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all want to do a part 2 of this tomorrow. Because again, there is an end to all of this. There is the solution to all of this. And I do want to get to it, but this right here is just so important that when it goes down, I want to be able to say, I told you. I told you. I told you. So y'all say 1. All right. So we'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do that. We'll have a part 2 on this and we'll go in depth with this, and we'll get into the end game on how all of this just is so convenient, the timing and everything, and how this is coming together. It's like there's all these made up now all of a sudden cash is a problem. Now all of a sudden everybody needs to have a bank. Everybody needs to have a bank. If you don't have a bank, you're disenfranchised if you're not paying bank fees and you're missing out. You know what I'm saying? And you know the government, they're gonna make sure nobody is missing out. All right. So tomorrow we're gonna definitely get into the UBI part of this. Once again, this is the Logic Sphere. I am your host, TipTycity. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Again, hit the like button on the way out. Don't disrespect the channel. You know, don't disrespect this the channel that's gonna come back to your memory, be like, God, you know what? Damn, man, Ty was right. He seen it. Because again, these people, this is not a conspiracy. This is not tinfoil hat shit. This is the real deal. This is what's going, that's what they talking about. All right. You fuck around and not be paying attention and get caught off guard. All right. They're not finna have trust me. It's a diabolical plan that's being laid out. So again, I appreciate everybody for coming through. Thank you for all the new subscribers. Thank you for all the support. We'll be back for the part 2, you know, because that's what this whole cashless society stuff is about. It's about crypto. It's about blockchain. It's about all this new technologies that the government they just have to find a way to roll it out to the people. So I'll catch y'all later. Y'all be safe.